You look at me and tell me now. All right. Now we had the gravel in the last time. I told you I was going to show you how to set the steel. What I did here was I bent the steel across. And if you remember in one of the videos, the first ones, when we put the wire through to tie to the steel, there they are. And here's one that's loose. This wire is the same wire as this that went through this styrofoam. We are going to wrap it around the steel, and we're going to tighten it as much as we can. And we're going to take this one, wrap it around. The styrofoam, this is hooked to the styrofoam. If you remember in my last video, this wires are attached to this steel, which are behind this styrofoam. So when the forms are ripped out, this styrofoam will stay. It won't be ripped off. Now what I did with this rebar, it is bent up and down and down. Now if you notice over here, the slab will be even with this. The concrete will be even over here. This is not Grandpa's blood. This is paint, okay? This is paint. What I did, camera girl, go back over there. What I did was I drilled the holes in the, it showed them how I drilled the holes in the block. Now, what I did was, this is an 8-inch block. This is an 8-inch block. So what I did was, I drilled through the block, but you don't want to drill through the other side of the block. You only want to drill into the web. You don't think that the farther you put it in the building, the stronger it is. When you go through the other side of the web, you hit the other side of the web, that's all you need. Now, what I did here, instead of taking a tape measure, I simply, there is a red mark on here. It's just easier for me to do. You sit right there. I come over here. I take a little shot with an old can of spray paint. It doesn't matter what color it is. This just happens to be something my daughter wanted to paint a chair, and she never did it, and she never will. So I took the chair. I took the paint, I should say. Now, I've already cut this steel 2 feet from this mark. 2 feet from this mark after I marked it, 2 feet. Because that's all you want to go down, because you got 42, 36, 2 feet. You do not want to go any deeper than that. You don't need your steel up here. Now, you got to bend this. There's many ways that you can bend this. You can go to, you can get yourself a bender. What I did here, I've drilled holes in trees, put them inside, and bent it. In this situation, we're gonna go over here. Now you notice that I put a pipe on a fence with the pipe on this side and the pipe is on the opposite side. Now, I do not recommend you doing this to a customer's fence. This happens to be my fence, okay? So if I break it, don't take my word on this. I've bend these a lot of different ways, but it's my fence, so if I break it, I will. Now, come over here, Michelle. Now, if you notice the paint color on this piece of steel, I am gonna put this in the pipe. And I'm gonna put it to the last where I don't see the paint no more. And now you're gonna have to stand out of my way. And I'm gonna bend it a little bit. Okay? And now, you're gonna see me pull this out. I am gonna bend it to the other part of the paint that I see. See, now this is important. because you won't get a true bend. I put to this paint, and I bent it. Now, if the camera girl stays there and this thing snaps, she's gonna get hurt. So camera girl, stand over there. Now I put this on the other side of the paint, and what I'm doing is using 2 bends. I'm not using 1 bend. You're not bending it 1 time. You're gonna use 2. And what you're looking for is a 90. So when I take this out, what does it look like? An L. But I can tell by eye construction that it's not a 90. You want this to be a 90, which feels like not too bad. But you put on it, you work it. But now remember, when you bend this, you gotta bend from 2 points, not 1. Let's go back. And I gotta use this because my pants are falling down and we're trying to be funny here. But now, we're gonna try to put this thing in the foundation. But what you gotta do is you gotta put this to the back of the form, as close as you can. And then go back in. Okay? And now we got situation. Now, you see how this wants to go everywhere? It wants to go everywhere. So what I did, you got to make a bird's mouth in this. Some people want to make a bird's mouth to make a V. You don't have to do that. You know that this wire wants to go that way. If it wanted to come to me, I am going to cut this on an angle this way. Okay? And then I'm just going to bend it a little bit. But the reason I did that, if the wire wanted to come to me, I would cut the opposite direction so it would hold this way. And now, what we're gonna do, you just tap it down. This is going to a cardboard sonotube. Now look down in this hole. You have 4 wires that are continuous with no rebar. This thing's gonna, when the concrete is poured, we showed you how this is going to be 12 inches up to a 6-inch grade over here. You can almost see how the concrete is going to be a monolithic pour, where over here is deeper, and this is going to be so strong. Now, if you notice where I went to the house, I spread it out a little bit. Now you see how it jumped? But that's not going to happen for long, because you see this wire now was cut short. So I'm only going to wrap this one. We're going to wrap this around. We're going to take this one. We're going to go on over here. We're going to tie it. We're going to come back. This one wants to jump. She's a miserable son of a gun. But it won't do that. Trust me, pull on. You're going to stay there. You like it or not. That's why I say you only cut 1 sleeve. If I have to, I will drill 2 holes in here and tie her down. But she ain't going to go near her. When I start putting the top wire that actually covers the slip, well, we're actually going to be putting poly down. First, I have to continue this all the way around. But now, well, gravel hurts on your knees. But what we're going to do is, these are the wires that I told you we were going to use later. Now, these wires, I should have left longer. These wires should have hit here. But like I said, when you come near the house, I like to spread out farther. These are probably 4 to 5 inches apart coming through. This one stays the same, but I always like to spread out. I don't know why. It's the way I sleep. And I'm going to tie these right here where they are. And it, you know, it's not going to hurt for me to just get more tie wire, which I got to roll on the table to tie this to this. It's not going to hurt. But, you know, something less you have to trip on. There's no reason I'm going to put, and I will be tying this. See what's going to happen here Now, you're gonna have 6 inches of 6 inches of concrete coming here, approximately, through, following this line. It is gonna drop. The wire that I'm gonna be putting in here will be right here. It will fall approximately 3 inches on top of this. Like I said, we're gonna be putting plastic, poly, down to the slope. And once that's done, we're gonna pour. And you know what? That's the most exciting day, because there's been a lot of digging, finding the electric, finding the well, digging this almost practically by hand. This is my machine here. I did not use that machine to dig this hole. I had to do it mostly by hand and everything by hand. I used that machine to remove the dirt off the site because there'll be a big pile of dirt here. Now, these are going to be the next step. Now, these are going to fall in the hole. Like you see now, you got 2 rows of steel rebar. I bent these the same way. They will fall in here. They fall in the hole. And then the next ones are going to come this way. Those sounding tubes here are not cut yet. They will be cut. And I tell you, in one of my videos, over here, in one of my videos, this is the 6 inches that I took off. What I showed you in the other video that was coming off. Those will be cut. And everything is going to be poured in up here. And that's it. We're gonna continue a little bit tonight, but I will be back to you when you saw how I did this. The steel running all the way through and then down, and then I think we're gonna have a good slab here. What do you